I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Good. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever the case may be. Welcome to Cross Examinations Live on Art of the Hero with Mike S. Miller, the Antichrist. Thank you for being here. God bless everybody. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. My name is Mike S. Miller. If you don't know, you don't have to say the S part. You don't have to say the Miller part. Just call me Mike. It's fine. 27-year comic book creator. 25-year, maybe. Born again, Bible believing Christian, and all that entails. And so here I am, as I do 6 days a week, sharing stuff about Bible, current events, whatnot with you. We did recently just wrap a 11-week Bible study, and are now not doing that. Kind of going topical once again. I'm sorry. I do not know what's going on. What's up, Dennis Peruch? How you doing, brother? It looks like it's just you and me, bro. It's only me and you and me. Like and share. Let's see if we can get anybody in here. I did put Syria and the truth, so I don't know if we're going to get notifications going out. Because, boy, people don't want to know the truth about Syria, do they? They don't want to know the truth, Dennis. What the heck, man? All right, let's see. I had, from yesterday's show, Nebuchadnezzar narcissism. It says I have 2 comments, but I only see one. Why is the other one? What do I have to do to see the other comment? Hold on a second. Let me go to YouTube Studio real quick. I'm really curious what the other comment was. Nebuchadnezzar narcissism. The other comment was, oh, why is this hidden? Okay. This space for rent says, in the Epic of Gilgamesh, the goddess Ishtar decides to humble the greedy and prideful king Gilgamesh by raising up a rival for him. She finds a wild man, Enkidu, in the wilderness living like an animal, grants him sanity by doing things with him for a week, and then sends him out to fight Gilgamesh. Oh, hey, nice. Look at that. I got food delivered. What happens to the prideful Nebuchadnezzar is the reverse of what happened to Enkidu. Maybe God was also sending the Babylonians a message about pride in terms they could understand. Now, good point, actually. Food again. I'm sorry. My wife makes me food. I got to eat the food. It's being a good husband, right? Other comment. The other comment. Rusty Scrapes says, iron, sons of God. Genesis 6, 1-2. That's the Nephilim. Matthew 24, 37-39. The dragon and his angels, Revelation 12, 7-9. 10 toes, 10 kings, Revelation 17:12, Daniel 2:42. Watch the videos from the Shepherd's Chapel. I know, I do apologize for being forced to eat on stream. My wife made me these delicious. If you guys are not familiar, since I am trying to avoid carbs as much as possible, especially in the first part of the day because I am pre-diabetic, my wife makes these banana pancakes. I don't know if you're familiar, but you take bananas and you mush them up, and then you mix them up with the eggs, and they're actually really good. If you have not tried them, I recommend low carb. I mean, there's still carbs because it's bananas. It's got fructose in it. And then, there's syrup on it. So, but really good. And sausage. Not great for the blood pressure because there's salt in the sausage, but I'll survive. Or I won't. One way or the other. Martin prefers the traditional stuff to the... I wonder if there's any way you can get them to rise. Maybe put some yeast in the... Put yeast in the banana pancakes. That'd be interesting. No notification. Well, I don't think the media, the powers that be, and certainly the deep state. I don't want to get all tinfoil hat, but we've been lied to about Syria. And just remember, guys, I've been saying this the whole time. Timotei said, I just eat 2 meals a day and lost 7 pounds recently. Oh. Well, Thanksgiving and Christmas are coming up, so I'm sure you'll find them again. It's the swamps. This is Lord Edric Payne. Amen. Absolutely. That swamp tried to get us into a war with Syria. And I was like, this stinks. This stinks. And I was so bummed when Trump actually shot missiles at their airfield or whatever, or airport, airbase. All right, well, keep the likes and the shares coming, guys. And by the time I'm done eating this, maybe we'll get on topic. Actually, we're already on topic, but see, I got other comments from other shows here. Boy, I got a lot of comments from the Nerds of the Round Table last night. Let's see. Someone commented on my how to crowdfund successfully video, and he wrote Ponzi. Those guys just really love the lies. Read those if they're good. Oh. Really fun Nerds episode, says Awful Redneck Gaming. Thanks to Mary, Dave, and Quinn for coming. It's Mary Ellen, but yeah. Martin Hess. Let's see. Dennis Birch says John McCain was a bad dude in Syria. Bestie with al-Baghdadi. Deep state protected him. I called Rush when he shot missiles at Syria. I was so upset. He talked me down some, but I educated him. Yeah, I was upset too, man. Has your sub count gone up still by joining Knights of the Round Table? You mean Nerds of the Round Table? Let me check my sub. 64, actually, I lost 2 since last night, but I'm up 75 in the last 28 days, which is considerable since I had been going down. So, but yeah, since doing Order of the Green Hand, man, I had 45, 32. I was like losing subs. I'd have a few days here and there when the attacks from the other side subsided, where I would gain, 5, 6, 5, 2, 4, 3. But then there's days that I would get attacked and I'd lose some more. But since the Order of the Green Hand days, it's all been positive. It went 45, 32, 42, 17, 2, 5, and 5. So all in all, pretty good. Pretty good. CIA run Iran had a secret uranium processing facility in Syria, which is where much of Obama's cash payment went. That facility was being used to make nukes. To blame, on Russia. Uranium One will reveal. U.S. missile strikes destroyed it. Where do you get this information, Seven? Last sausage. Man, I got this table covered in keyboards now. I got no place to put my empty plates. Trump flexed in Syria. Yeah, I hated to see that. I knew that was a mistake. Knew it was a mistake. Just in my gut. High-level military intelligence. Uranium One will be news soon. All right, so that is deep state stuff, huh? That is deep state stuff. But let me get to the article. Oh shoot! That means I have to. You know what? Maybe I'll just open another window here. And this does play into the Bible, so this isn't just going to be political. So let me see. Share screen. Oh wait, no, not that one. Oh my gosh. Application window. Which one am I looking at? That one. That's the right one. All right. What the heck is with this mouse? All right. Chemical warfare watchdog defends Syria report. The head of the world's chemical weapons watchdog on Monday defended a report into an alleged chlorine attack in Syria, despite a whistleblower's allegations of a cover-up. Fernando Arraiz said he stood by the investigation by the Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons into the attack of the Don Dama, which around 40 people died. WikiLeaks released an email from a member of the team that probed the incident, which accused OPCW of altering the original findings of investigators to make evidence of a chemical attack seem more conclusive. Britain, France, and the United States unleashed missile attacks on suspected chemical weapons facilities run by Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's regime after the attack. It is in the nature of any thorough inquiry for individuals in a team to express subjective views, Araya said in his opening speech to annual meetings in the OPCW's 193 member countries. While some of these diverse views continue to circulate in some public discussion forum, I would like to reiterate that I stand by the independent professional conclusion. Distorts reality. Moscow and its allies have seized on the whistleblower's claim to back their insistence that the Duma attack was staged as a pretext for Western military action. Russia on Monday said the Duma report released on March 19 distorts reality and reflects a schism in the organization. France's ambassador to the OPCW, Louis Vassé, however, expressed full support and our total confidence in the conclusions of this report. Britain and the U.S. also backed the watchdog. The WikiLeaks email written by an investigator going by the alias Alex Jones expressed gravest concern. It's not Alex Jones, for those who are just listening. Saying the OPCW report was biased and highly misleading and not supported by the facts. The email says that OPCW report changed the language of the levels of chlorine allegedly found to make it appear that the presence of the chemical was more conclusive. It also focuses on whether or not the chemical came from barrels found at the scene and how those barrels got there. If the barrels were dropped from the area, it would indicate Assad's forces were responsible, whereas if they were put there manually, it could indicate that the attack was staged by rebel forces. New blaming powers. The row has fueled tensions between Russia and the West over a new OPCW investigative team that is due shortly to name suspects behind chemical attacks, possibly including Doma for the first time. OPCW states voted in 2018 to give the organization new powers to pin blame on culprits for the use of toxic arms. Previously, it could only confirm whether or not the channel assault had occurred. It didn't. And I haven't read this through this. Hold on. The change was prompted by a series of chemical attacks in Syria carried out despite Damascus agreeing to hand over its chemical arsenal in 2013, followed by a suspected sarin gas attack that attacked 1,400 in Damascus' suburb of Ghouta. Moscow and its allies are now threatening to block next year's OPCW budget if it includes funding for the team. OPCW Chief Arias urged member countries to ensure that the organization has a budget in order to operate it for the next year. The OPCW won, of course, the meaningless Nobel Peace Prize in 2013 and says it has eliminated 97% of the world's chemical weapons. So I was watching a report on Tucker Carlson. The people that went in there to do the testing, they never got their results back, or they didn't get the results back as they were expecting them. And then they finally went back and got the results, and they discovered there was no chlorine in any of the organic material, which means the chlorine gas attack never happened. It was a complete concoction spread by every news agency in the world, including Fox News, by certain people. But Tucker Carlson back then, it's funny because I've had this opinion about Assad just from watching Assad, right? Just from watching Assad, I hear all these he's evil, he's the next Hitler, he's the blah blah blah, he's doing all this stuff, and I'm like, all right, what's the deal with this guy? So I went and I watched a bunch of as many interviews as I could find about this guy. He is moderate, he is cool-tempered, he is intelligent, he is reasonable. And I'm watching this guy, and I'm like, either this guy is the world's greatest actor, or all of this stuff they're saying about him are lies. And right here, all of the world's press, all of the world's governments were claiming this chlorine bomb attack by Assad. And he's like, why would I do that? He didn't do it. It didn't happen. It was a lie. This was deep state, I don't know, CIA, like Seven saying, just there is a deep, dark, freaking, frankly, evil government inside our government. I was upset with Donald Trump for what he actually did do, but God bless that man for not doing what the world wanted him to do, which was put boots on the ground and go take out Assad. Donald Trump has more sense in his 7-year-old, brain than all of these warmongering. Can you imagine if Hillary Clinton was president? We would be right now in a war with Syria. Unbelievable. Unfortunately true. Unbelievable, but unfortunately true. They're all lies, man. Seven says taking out Assad would have taken out the evidence. Exactly. We would have been at war with Russia. Right. Assad is tied to Russia. Syria is tied to Russia. Look, Putin's not a great dude. But he's the president of Russia. Russia is not America. Russia ain't France. It ain't Canada. Russia is the kind of country that requires a strong-handed leader. Which, again, he does some dirty stuff. But he's not freaking Hitler. Assad is not freaking Hitler. These guys are not, they're not the antichrists that oddly the left, whatever happened to the left being the peaceniks and the doves? Why is it the left that always is wanting us to relentlessly go to war with these guys? What's the deal here? That's a point. 7 says Putin is autonomous outside of the Rothschild central bank system, one of the few nations. Yes. There you go. That's part of it. Kiwi Comics says we would be in World War III if Clinton was president, right? It's true. You guys can be quiet, or you guys can leave. I can hear you. It's distracting me. Silence. I need silence. All right. Let's see. Now, here is my thing, though. The Antichrist is described in Scripture as the Assyrian. This is what, I don't know. Like I said, man, this guy might be the world's greatest actor. And I was thinking, like, gosh, maybe he is the world's greatest actor. But I don't know. I don't know if that's... Hey, we got a Twitcher in here. Ryan Chasion Petersi. Rancho Sion Petersi. Why? Did you just create a name that people would like stop and be like Rancho Sion Petersi? I got it. Nah, forget it. So yeah, the Antichrist is described as the Assyrian, and I'll read these texts to you. Isaiah 10. Wherefore it shall come to pass that when the Lord hath performed his whole work upon Mount Zion and on Jerusalem, I will punish the fruit of the stout heart of the king of Assyria, and the glory of his high looks. Isaiah 14:25. That I will break the Assyrian on my land, and upon my mountains tread him under foot. Then shall his yoke depart from off them, and his burden depart from off their shoulders. And then in Micah 5 it says, and this man shall be the peace, when the Assyrian shall come into our land, and when he shall tread in our palaces, then we shall rise again against him 7 shepherds and 8 principal men, and they shall waste the land of Assyria with the sword, and the land of Nimrod in the entrances thereof. Thus shall he deliver us from the Assyrian, when he cometh into our land, and when he treadeth within our borders. Those are prophecies of the Antichrist, which that's when you go back and it's like, oh, Assad is Syrian. But here's the difference. What's up, Ninja Blade? Welcome. That's a Latin name for a super cute animal. Oh, okay. You almost want me to look it up, don't you? That is indeed a name of the Antichrist, but application window. I just want you guys to keep in mind that this is a modern Middle East map. All the area in red is ancient Assyria. So Syria today, as the state that was broken up as part of the 1918 When the Ottoman Empire was broken up by the Western powers, Syria became this itty bitty landmass right north of Israel. Well, it's not itty bitty, but actually, it's pretty good, pretty good size. But Syria, Assyria, as in the Assyrian, when the Bible talks about people, when it names people in general, it names their landmass from their time period, right? From the time period the Bible was written. So this area being Syria means that the Assyrian could be from Turkey, Erdogan, could be from Egypt. I don't know who's in control of Egypt right now. Part of Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran. Is that it? Yeah, Iraq, Iran. What is it? Hold on a second. Let me turn this part off right here. Iraq, Iran, Jordan, Egypt, Lebanon. Yeah, so it could be from all of these areas in the modern world would qualify. I do believe. What is this? Kuwait would qualify as, in a biblical context, the Assyrian. Comic Collection Agency says maybe spiritually Syrian, like Israel will be spiritually Sodom and Egypt, where our Lord was crucified. Revelation 18. I gotta look that up. Wait, what? Revelation 11:8. Revelation 11, verse 8. Go. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. Well, here's the issue. If it says spiritually, then it probably means spiritually. If it doesn't say spiritually, I wouldn't interject the word where the Bible doesn't use it. Right? That's kind of a no for me, because that's adding to the scriptures. And I'll leave that to the cults to add to the scriptures, because that ain't my thing. If it is prophetic, why not give modern names? It's just sort of standard practice. I mean, God did name Darius centuries before he was born. But it's sort of just the way it's the idiom of the Bible. If they're talking about, Edomites, they're talking about the land of Eden, with Edom, which I believe it's Jordan today. I could be wrong. But yeah, if they're talking about, oh gosh, this is going to lead me into a really interesting. I'm saying they might have the spirit of Assyrians, something to consider, not believe wholeheartedly. Yeah, but I tend to stick with the idioms that are pre-established biblically. So I would believe that means that what I said, right? If it's Assyrian, he's Assyrian, which means he's going to come from someplace in this red area. Could he be from Syria? Absolutely. That's in the heart of the red area. But Assyria and Syria are not the same place. I mean, it's like York and New York, I guess, right? York is in England. New York is not. Anyways, oh gosh, you're making me want to think about this other stuff. Just remember, too, the Antichrist will hit the scene as a great charismatic leader who will be appealing both politically and religiously. Not all of the times. Well, and again, I don't follow the Western paradigm. eschatology anymore. God typically wrote scripture to the audience he was dictating to. In other words, he wouldn't mention an airplane since his audience wouldn't understand the term. True. Yeah, like the way John tries to describe modern warfare in ancient texts, like he talks about things flying like with the faces of grasshoppers or something like that. With tails of scorpions, right? How are you going to describe an Apache helicopter or a Chinook or something to somebody from 100 AD when you're writing this thing down? It's really not going to be that easy of a transition. All right, let me stop screen sharing this. Go over here. Oh, up. And no, it's not really swirling. I'm not really swirling. It's just that I was reading through. Okay, this is kind of swirling, but this is biblical. I was reading through. Or got right into Chronicles. Bam, 1:1. This stuff's fun to me. Careful not to read the gospel according to Hal Lindsey or Left Behind. Hey, I agree with you, but Left Behind has led my dad to salvation, so that's a great story. It's true because it's in the Bible, but their hand would have to be heavily strengthened by everyone around them, like you're predicting. A huge eagle you can sit on and fly wherever. Oh, you're trying to... How would you describe a helicopter? But it wouldn't be an eagle because it's that tail like a scorpion. Long tail. Face of a... I mean, let's see here. Real quick. This might be silly. What's a military helicopter? Images of military helicopters. This is a Black Hawk, or they have these as Black Hawks, Seahawks. So let's just open image in a new tab. Does it say grasshopper or locust? Grasshopper, helicopter, what? Nah, that can't be it. So there's your grasshopper. There's your helicopter. Modern, right? Face like a grasshopper with the tail of a scorpion. I mean, it's got a hard shell, obviously. I wouldn't try to use an eagle to describe this, because eagles, I mean, they look soft. Yeah, you might use an eagle for like a jet or something. But if you're trying to describe one of these and you're trying to use what you're familiar with in the year 95 AD or whatever, that's not a bad description. Face like a grasshopper, tail of a scorpion, right? And it shoots fire. What does it say? It shoots fire or something like that. We're talking about... Oh, you know what? Let me just look in the description. Revelation description of helicopter. I don't even know if there is somebody using this in the helicopters. Tails like unto scorpions, face of a man. Face of a man. Picture of a desert locust. Wait, Rubens cube scenario. First of all, I determined all the possible clues to pictographic relationships, and then, like anyone else would do, I study its relationships. Looking at through John's eyes does not take too much practice, so take your time anyway. Reading pictorial writings 9, 7 through 10 is concluded to be a helicopter. Revelation 7, 9, 7. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle. On their heads it were as it were crowns like gold. Then their faces were as the faces of men. And they had hair as the hair of women. And their teeth were as the teeth of lions. And they had breastplates, as it were breastplates of iron. And the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle. Had a lot of horsepower. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. Their faces were as faces of men. I guess he's using this image for faces of men. I don't know. I guess I got the faces of where's the grasshoppers part? I'm going to make a correction in the pictographic relationship. Now, don't let this alarm you because I'm not adding it to or taking away. I'm taking it down as 2 segments and switching them to where they make sense in the sentence structure as they are now switched. And so noted and underlined, the shapes of the locust were like unto horses prepared unto battle. And on their heads were crowns like gold as the hair of women. Crowns of gold as the hair of women. Oh, okay. I think I understand what they're saying. So, like, and this will get, it sounds like the sound of a helicopter. I don't think that's a helicopter, says Larry. Sounds like the sound of it. 7 says, Mike, they come up from the abyss. Since when do helicopters come out of a bottomless pit, which is itself symbolic of a place of no knowledge, i.e. ignorance? What in Revelation? Reminds me of that What If comic with Conan the Barbarian, where dude was describing present day to Conan chariots pulling themselves and ships sailing the skies. Eagle, F-14, pretty close. Behold the remarkable imagination of private interpretation. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given powers, as the scorpions of the earth have power. Revelation 9. Darn it, I wanted to get to this part, but yeah, we got time. Revelation 9. I've got I got sausage between my teeth. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. And in those days shall men seek death and not find it, and shall desire to die, and the death shall flee from them. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were, as it were, crowns like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men, and they had hair as the hair of women. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue his name is Apollyon. One woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter. All right. So you're saying that these have nothing to do. Oh, 7 saying war machines do not come out of the bottomless pit. This is highly figurative language. Well, hold on. Can I get it? It's really irritating me. It doesn't say canyon. It says a bottomless pit that was opened by an angel. You're correct. That's what it says, 7. Let's go into the Greek. I'm sure you have already, right? Ah! Stupid, typed it wrong. And was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit. The abyss. The abyssos. I think we all know what abyss means. Bottomless, unbounded, the abyss, the immeasurable depth, the Orcus, a deep gulf or chasm in the lowest parts of the earth, used as a common receptacle of the dead, and especially as the abode of demons. Well, smoke. What? The bottomless pit. Wait. Smoke out of. He opened the bottomless pit. Oh, this is what I'm looking for. A well, the pit of the abyss. The pit of the abyss, because neither world is thought to increase in size, and further it extends from the surface from the earth. So, what? Well, that's just what pit means. Pit means pit. That's all pit means. 7 says, abyss is figuratively a place of no knowledge. This obviously is no bottomless pit in the earth because the earth is round. You're catching yourself in your own literalism, though, 7. Because if the earth has a center of gravity, there is no bottom. You can't have a bottom because you fall through the center of the earth and you fall back through the center of the earth. There's no bottom. There's no end. There's a center, but there's no bottom if you're being literal. Abyss is the outer darkness, says Comic Collection Agency. Ooh, we're going to get into a little exegetical tete-a-tete. Do you think the bottomless pit is spiritual in nature or a physical place? I honestly don't know. If I'm trying to be consistent about all of creation being, it's part of creation. I don't know if it's part of our 4-dimensional reality, but it's part of the 10 or 12-dimensional reality, right? Because it's part of God's creation. So there is and I don't understand, because I cannot understand outside of the 4 dimensions that we are capable of comprehending, what physicality means to someone or something who exists in, say, 10 dimensions or 6 dimensions, whatever. I can't understand that. So from me saying I don't think it's a physical place, like, knock on wood, this kind of physical, it may not necessarily be truth that it's not a physical place to someone of a higher dimensional understanding or plane. Wouldn't molten lava in a hollow core be bottomless? Roscoe, we've never been more than 8 miles down into our Earth's crust. So these theories about what's in the middle of the earth, we are thousands of miles away from discovering. So
What is this?
what is what?
What?
What? I heard they cracked through Earth's crust and magma sounded like thousands of people screaming.
Where'd you hear that? You could probably find the video on YouTube. It's creepy.
Well, now I have to find the video on YouTube.
What if they turn into like molten lava?
I don't see anything with. I see nothing. Yeah, I got nothing, man. I got nothing. Abyss of space. Well, it wouldn't really be a pit if it was out in space, though. The bottomless pit is another dimension. Isn't that the place the legion of demons didn't want Jesus to send them? Something along those lines. Now, okay. Seven's got some. Okay, look. Abyss comes from Bathos, and the alpha privative A, which in Greek makes a word look. A word its opposite, like asexual. So bathos means depth, though abyssos literally means without depth. I don't know what to do with that. 7. A black hole. Ooh, theories abound. Theories abound.
People live in the black hole.
Figuratively, it's like show, which is likeness of the pit with no understanding. Well, I don't know. Let me think through this. Yeah, I mean, if you're reading through this and it says it was given to them that they should not kill men, but they should be tormented 5 months. Yeah, I can see this not having anything to do with vehicles of war. Shapes of logos. And they had hair as hair of women. The teeth was the teeth of lions. Unless, you know what, this could be like one of those dual prophetic things, right? Where it is talking about the locusts. Can you just stop playing around behind me? Would you go up like to church and just mess around behind the pastor to distract him while he's trying to talk to people?
To distract you?
You are. You're coming in with a gun. You like kick the door open with a gun. You don't think you're trying to distract me? And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue, his name is Apollyon. Yeah, what was I saying before I was so easily distracted? As I tend to be. A dual... I don't know if that would apply, though. I don't know. That's the weird thing. It's like, because it is prophecy, we won't understand the absolute of what it all encompasses until after it is fulfilled. It's about a false teacher who rise out of ignorance, becoming a scourge of mankind. Well, I don't know if I buy that either. 7. YouTube search voice from hell. The video is creepy. Oh, brother. I hate this keyboard. I need to get an Apple keyboard. This thing's I hate the buttons on this thing. Voice of hell. Voice from hell. Cries, screams, scientific discovery. That sounds like it. Researchers record the screams of the damned. A black hole would make sense since nothing comes out of it and we don't know what is on the other side. It could be a portal to hell or something. It's also void of all light. What does Torch say? I missed something here. This is getting like play Stairway to Heaven backwards style inane. Sorry. The internet posted the voice from hell. It must be real.
What if, like, now people say like the world's kind of simulation.
A hologram?
It kind of is. Because, like, if God is the actual reality, like, where He is, then where we are is kind of just like a lesser version of that, where it's like, you know what I mean?
No.
Well, like, I don't know, I remember hearing from, like, I think Chuck Mister was talking about how, like, our world is kind of a simulation because it can only go down to such a limited detail.
Right.
And so I was thinking, like, if you were to put that in terms of, like, a computer, I mean, a computer has physical inputs to, like, our world. Like, the computer's world is, like, a limited version of our world, right? Well, not exactly limited, but, like, but it does have inputs to the outside world. Like, your keyboard, I mean, that's where the kind of connection between you and the user of the world actually comes into play. So I think, like...
So you're saying we live in an actual matrix?
No, like, kind of... Well, like, we have actual connections. Like,
Catholic Bob says, boy, stay silent and play your game.
I'm thinking, like, what if, like, there are actual connections in our world to places, like, in heaven and, like, other dimensions.
Nicholas Glenn agrees with your analogy. The best advice when it comes to eschatology is basically don't read the Bible in one hand and the newspaper in the other. No, I understand if God is the great programmer in the sky, except for He created the sky. So beyond the sky, outside of the sky, outside of the creation. Yeah.
If you lived in a computer world, you wouldn't know what's real and what's not. So,
if you existed inside of the computer world,
yeah.
It would be the Matrix. There are theories. There is theories on our world being a computer, or because there are patterns in the world that repeat a lot. Saving RAM, replicating stuff. Yeah, what Chuck Missler was talking about, what he's saying is that there's a maximum where you can divide things, right? Like you can multiply things exponentially for all eternity until you never run out of space because the universe is constantly expanding. But you can only get so small, right? You can divide things in size-wise, but there's a limitation before it loses space. It loses position in space. So it literally just, I guess, cannot exist in a physical reality anymore. Things can't be divided forever. Another point he makes is that, well, not just the point that he makes, the point that science makes is that there's so little actual physicality to our physicality. Like, if one, like if you take an atom, right, and you take one proton from the atom, and you take an electron from the atom, and you know, in the atomic scale, they seem like they're very close. But if you make that proton the size of a basketball, and you make the electron the size of a basketball, they're literally like a mile apart. There's so little actual physicality. And then I don't even know what the physicality of the proton and electron are. They're particles. They're light.
They're made of quarks.
They're made of quarks, which is like electromagnetic, right? It's not actual physicality. So we are actually, I mean, for lack of a better word, we are all holograms on God's computer. We are holograms on God's computer. I hope you enjoy your day.
That's why I said let there be light, because he turned on the computer.
That's right. let there be on. Took 7 days to boot up. Look how ambiguous their description of a helicopter is. Head of a grasshopper, tail of a scorpion. They aren't going to get helipad, airfield, or whatever. Okay. Just abyss. Well, Seven's point actually makes sense in that they say that it was given that they should not kill them, in other words, men, but that they should be tormented for 5 months, and their torment was that as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man, which I imagine that's fairly painful, but doesn't kill you, I guess. I don't know. We had a scorpion in the backyard once.
What about that?
Yeah, it was on the hill.
In those days, men shall men seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. Yeah, that's one of those weird.
I think that's like a medicine thing, maybe, because like maybe our medicine gets so advanced, people like want to die, but our medicine won't let them.
Oh, no medicine's gonna save somebody from a bullet to the head. Yeah, death takes a holiday. Isn't that interesting? Well, then why would it say it was given that they should not kill them?
Who's they?
The locusts from the bottomless pit.
Maybe it's not like when with Job, when God let Satan do other stuff. That maybe it's kind of the same thing.
Torment of a false religion. Well, they are Islamic. Sorry. That's the reality. Every single nation mentioned that rises in the end times against the Christ is Islamic today. I think we went to our map, right? Let's see. Let's go back to the map. All of these nations, Islamic. The whole world surrounding Israel, which these are all the nations described as being the Antichrist army. I mean, figure it out. And indeed, yeah, Jay Hamilton, it's not a coincidence. So at any rate, it is an hour. Sorry, I know at my eschatology, it's not perfect. 7 yours isn't perfect either, but I appreciate the input. There's no such thing as perfect eschatology. We don't know for sure until after the fact who's right about what. But again, I just don't follow the Western paradigm, and I don't. I don't know. The Assyrian, I do believe, will come from somewhere in this red area. I don't think Assad is a good choice. Erdogan seems to be the one who's vying for the position.
Maybe he's going to come from Syria.
I met a Chaldean Christian months back. They do exist, and many in severe trauma. Oh, 7. I live next to El Cajon, which has a huge Chaldean population. Yeah, and they love Assad. They loved Saddam. They loved all the strong men who used to keep the Muslims from killing the Christians.
Oh, no, it's Chaldean, right?
Who?
Oh, no.
Oh, no? I think. Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Duh, Mike. Everybody knows about that. You don't got to tell us. I didn't say be careful in poor black neighborhoods. What? Huh? That's a bit of a non sequitur there, Victor Rodriguez. But that's where I'm going to leave it. So thanks, everybody, for being here. God bless you. Have a great day. Should be getting the rest of my shark books in today. Woot, woot. And so fun stuff. Please do back my comic, Lone Star, if you have not already. Link is in the description. LoneStarComic.com if you don't want to go there. God bless. Have a good one. And spend more time in the Word today and with your friends, family. Get off the computer.